Overcast, the podcast beyond World of Warcraft.
So after 2 weeks of a unscheduled break, we're back with the Overcast. We are closing in the first season, right? This is 15 episodes.
14. This is the 14th one,
Yes.
and we have one more after this.
And what better way to close it off than to have, the 14th episode will be with Flame.
Ah, man. You'll have to excuse my cough. I'm still coming out of the break, the unscheduled break.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of things to get into when it comes talking about Flame. Questions like, is he my child? Is he my lover?
Oh man! We've been getting a lot of comments about that, and we decided that the last 2 episodes will be with the two of us. Obviously, I'm in the 14th, and Marcelian is going to be in the 15th because I don't know. We might have thought it would be interesting, and plus, that some of you may know we have a This Is Living channel where we usually talk about our daily lives and things like that, more like things on our mind.
We never posted on that.
Yeah, and we haven't
forever.
We haven't posted in a while, so we thought, maybe we can just do a couple of episodes about ourselves. Maybe go a little bit deep in the same style as we did with the other videos, and mostly because if you've watched our previous Mocast, you could have seen that I think Stoops was the only guest that turned it around. It was surprising, like. How about you guys? How about you? Like, wait a minute, this is not how this goes, right? Because we're supposed to go with the questions. So I guess this is like a new thing now.
Yeah, that plus the fact that during our podcast journey with a lot of the WoW content creators and community figures, there was a lot of comments, asking, hey, but what about you guys? When will you guys be invited to something like this or do something about yourself? So that plus the fact that we have more invites, more guests to come, but they were super busy, especially with the Shadowlands launch and pre-patch and stuff. So everything kind of moved forward for the next year. So this is why we said, okay, we're making this season 1 of Mocast with 15 episodes, and we're going to start off brand new season in 2021, probably somewhere after middle of January with the new guest. So that being said, let's get into the flaminess now.
I wanted to say, guys, that usually we do a little bit of a prep work when we have a guest. We do a little bit of research because we have a couple of ideas of what we want to ask them. Things that, are either well known about them, and maybe we can get some more details. I do not know a single thing that Marcelian prepared today, so all of this is going to be on him. I'm just along for the ride. I'm just sipping my tea. It's all good.
It's all based on the curiosities we gathered during these almost 2 years, even more of doing content. So let's kick it off like this. Obviously, stuff is going to be based on topics me and Flame had over the course of our lifetime, different chats, and I'm going to try to touch a couple of subjects that I know he doesn't want to go out there.
Oh, really? You think there's stuff that I don't want to talk about? Really?
I know.
Ah, shit. Ah, man. Okay, I'm interested to know what you think.
We'll take it off slow. So usually we go with the flows like, hey, tell everybody who we are, and this is no exception. So, Flame, tell the people who you are, what do you do, what is next for you, all of that, and we can evolve from there.
All right. So, for those of you who may not know, I am Flame. I am not Marcelian's son. I am not his lover. He's not my uncle. He's not my brother. We're just friends who happen to do this thing. It's kind of like a partnership. This is basically, I'm a YouTube content creator. I also stream on the Marcelian Online platform. You should check out. Those guys have some pretty cool class guides and videos about
Hell yeah.
I started doing this with Marcelian a while ago, which I bet he probably has some questions about, but if he doesn't, I can just say it now. We worked together at a company that outsourced us to Microsoft Xbox, so we worked on tech support, on gaming. We were in gaming, and that's when we found out about our mutual passion towards Blizzard games. We started with HOTS, doing videos with HOTS, and now we're in WoW. And probably guys know the rest of the story. been doing WoW videos, and we plan on doing this for quite a while. At least our YouTube channel and our stream. We have plans to increase it in the future. We want to transition this essentially into a gaming channel. Hopefully one day we can be variety gaming and do all sorts of things, or maybe make another channel about that. That's something to be done in the future, but I don't know, man. I mean, I guess this is who I am at the moment, unless you have something else more specific to ask.
All right. So when we first started, when you first started getting into this, because I know you tried to do this before we hooked up and did this, all right? Like, what was like your main ambition? What did you want to achieve prior to us meeting and doing this whole thing? What was the dream there?
Well, this is very interesting because prior to us doing this, I was a little bit all over the place in my life. I didn't really have a solid direction, and I tried a couple of things over the course of the last decade in terms of personal growth, professional growth, stuff like that. And every time I tried to do that, I always came back to gaming because I tried something other than gaming. I tried economics, I've tried martial arts, I've tried learning new languages, stuff like that. I wanted to develop a couple of skills, but mostly I've studied and I wanted to have my own business eventually. I just didn't know exactly what it was, and it always came back to gaming. Plus I had a hard time in university. It was one of the shittiest time of my life, so I felt like I wanted to just retreat into either being a professional gamer or doing YouTube as gaming, because it felt all right for me to do that, and it was kind of like an escape at the time. So I thought, I can just be a YouTube content creator because people make a living out of this. I don't need to worry about my studies. I don't need to worry about my job. I don't need to worry about anything else. I can just support myself with what I want to do and what I enjoy and love doing. So that's kind of how I gravitated towards content creation.
But tell us a little bit about your first attempts on making videos and, I don't know, maybe streaming.
All right, so
this is all prior to any Marcelian and Flame thing.
So I did a video. I think I did more than one video, but I've only left only one on my channel.
No, there's three.
There's three.
I did my research.
Oh shit. So I was really into StarCraft. StarCraft 2 to be precise, and my first video was because I was a big fan of Noble. Listen, so you guys know that we had Noble in our first episode of MoCast, and I told him this then, and I don't know if he thought it was just just another line, just another thing that he hears from everybody that I'm a big fan, but I'm actually a really big fan. I think I've watched every video he posted for, I don't know, 4 to 6 years, something like that. And I was a big fan of the WoW lore, but I was also a big fan of the StarCraft lore. So my first video, if I remember correctly, was a StarCraft lore video where I just commented over a sequence of I think images. I didn't have any dynamic.
Well, I didn't know about that one, dude. Carry on.
Well, that's because it's private now, because I deleted most of my stuff, but I kept that one. So I don't know what else you found. But that was my first project. It was with a shitty microphone. It was with no webcam. I talked over it. It was unscripted, so there's a lot of it's the first project. It's fine. The reason I kept it is for posterity, is for to give me an idea of where I started from. It was really fun. I had a crazy amounts of fun designing and creating all the little bits, and it was like so creative. It was like, I can put that there. I can use that there. It was so cool. And yeah. That's kind of how.
All right. So we got the StarCraft thing. I never saw that one, so I'll be curious to see that one to understand a little bit, the Flame essence, especially when he edits and writes his scripts and whatever. But what I have found is a YouTube channel that Flame did with a buddy of ours. He became a buddy.
Oh, that's the one you found.
And we can, I think it's fine. It's Sliced, right? One of our long-term buddies, during the HOTS days and WoW days, and currently, playing with us on stream and stuff.
Yeah.
I think he's also a moderator on the Twitch nowadays.
Yeah, he's a mod on Twitch. Yeah.
All right, so that channel was Heroes of the Storm based, if I'm not mistaken, or at least I've seen at least 2 videos where you guys tested Heroes of the Storm.
Oh, I don't.
What was that
so
about?
Long ago.
Because it's interesting because before us hooking up and doing all this thing, you already had some sort of dual thing doing. Like after that, what was that all about? What was the plan there? What was the thing?
So Sliced and I go way back. You know how buddies are. Sometimes you bicker, sometimes you fight, but that's because you care. But Sliced is a friend that I've met initially in 2000, either in 2010 or 2011, back when League of Legends. So I've played League of Legends since its either beta or alpha stage. It was horrible. It looked pixelated. It was disgusting.
Beta.
But then I made a friend playing the live version, and I met Matt one day, was Sliced one day in League, and then we found out that we also have a passion for StarCraft, and then we really found out that we have a passion for Blizzard games.
Yeah.
So we played a lot of games over the years, and HOTS came on later. What was it, 2013, 14?
I think it was 2014, the beta and stuff, and 2015
I had
came out
we
officially.
both have had alpha access.
Yeah.
So we got into alpha. We both liked it, and we both enjoyed gaming, right? So we wanted to make a career, and I still wanted to try out YouTubing because at that time, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I didn't know, compared to what I know now and compared to what Marcelian knows now, I didn't know jack shit about YouTube at the time. I just thought it was, people using their passion to make a living, right? To make money, to, pay their bills. Because that was my biggest concern at the time, right? I don't know if I was living with my parents at the time, but I did not want to live with my parents. I didn't want my parents to pay for my shit. That was incredibly, it's not for me. It's not for me. Some people are okay with it. Good for you. But for me, I just wanted to live on my own. I wanted to support myself. I just didn't see myself enjoying anything other than gaming. There are probably other things that I can probably do as a profession, but gaming was always I could do this all day, even if when it gets shitty, I can still do this and build something and make something. So that's what it came with YouTube, and Slice was on the same page, and I thought, man, we kind of play all of this together. And at the time, I had a pretty crappy PC, like a really crappy PC. So I thought, because he had the better PC, I was like, dude, I can do everything that we need to, but you kind of have to like record and edit this stuff and upload it because you have the better PC. I think I was running something like 720p at the time. I was like, no, we cannot do that. So one of the reasons why we partnered up was because obviously we enjoyed playing with each other, and the other was that two-manning it is way better than one-manning it. A YouTube channel, that is. As we found out with me doing this with Marcelian, so.
Hell yeah. It was interesting to see even going back to older videos from any content creator. It's just interesting to see the tone of voice, the approach, the general vibes. There's so much to differentiate.
I don't remember those videos, man.
Oh, you should watch them. I watched them. Part of the research, right? Because this research was made independently. So before doing making YouTube and then streaming like the main thing, you said you were a bit chaotic. Didn't really know for sure what you wanted to go for. Can you talk about any of your prior jobs before us working together for Xbox and whatnot? Because I know there's you did some money recoup thing, if I remember correctly. Did you get
money recoup?
Right. I think you were
I didn't have a lot of jobs.
Loan shark? What?
So I can talk about that. Let me take this one at a time. My first job, I had those summer jobs that you have as a teenager. I had one that I did for a day, but then they kicked me out, not because of me, but because I wasn't technically employed. And they had an inspection coming, so that was like a big kick in the balls for me. Like my first professional experience, like, oh, come and work for us. Oh, it's gonna be cool. You're gonna make some money. It's nice. Don't come tomorrow though. So like, oh, come on, man.
Motivation.
I was an impressionable 16-year-old. Was I 16 at the time?
Oh Jesus.
And I was like, I worked for a day. But then I had, I don't know if I did anything else since then. I worked with work and travel in the US. for about 3 months. It was kind of like a student project thing. I think most countries in the world have this student travel where you can just pick a country and go work over there over the summer for a couple of months, make money, and experience the culture. And if you're in university and you have this, I strongly recommend you do this. It's a wonderful experience. You get to meet all sorts of people, especially if you go into a cultural rich country. Obviously, US is one of those countries because you have people from all over the world. It was amazing. It was one of the best experiences of my life. It opened up my eyes and my mind to like, oh, there's so many different people. So who knows, right?
Yeah, I think everybody will do that after the pandemic is over.
Well, clearly,
just put it out there.
Okay. But it was nice. It was a nice experience. I made a couple of friends there, and I still talk with one friend that I have there. After that, I came back to finish my university studies, and after I finished my bachelor's degree, I did project-based work online through a platform. It was called Odesk at the time.
I remember that. I worked there too, yeah.
Yeah, and then it became Upwork, and I don't know what it is today. I don't know if it's still Upwork. But basically, you would create an online profile. I think it's similar to LinkedIn. As it comes to your profile, you have a profile of your skills, of what you can do, reviews for jobs you've done, and people post little project jobs like translate this or edit that or create that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's more like Fiverr rather than LinkedIn. LinkedIn is more of a Facebook for business.
Right. And that's when I started to study Photoshop and Adobe Illustrator. Jesus Christ. And I really, really loved Illustrator to work with it. And I've studied, whatever information I found, which in hindsight, it was not that deep, not that profound, not that extensive on graphic design, but I did try to learn how to make logos and stuff like that, which is the logo that I did for my channel, for my old YouTube channel, which I still have to this day.
Beautiful work. Beautiful.
And I found it fascinating. I found it fascinating to translate drawn art on a piece of paper into Illustrator and try to model it and create the models and make that into a thing. That was incredibly cool. I think I don't know if I got work on logos, but it was on my profile. I did a lot of translation work, a lot of proofreading and stuff like that, and creative writing. That's what I did for a couple of projects. I didn't really make enough money because it was very cheap work. I had to compete with, let's say, very cheap labor. If you've done any of this kind of work, you probably know what I'm talking about, and if you don't, then that's fine.
Yeah.
You don't need to know. YouTube might not like it. Maybe it's not as PC as they would like it because it's stereotypical.
Yeah. Well, but what about the loan sharking business?
Right.
What did you do there? You thug.
So what happened was, I wasn't really making money to support myself, and I was living on. It was a very shitty time in my life. I was living with my mom, because my dad was working overseas, and I was 23-ish, 24-ish. It was, for me, it was not cool. My mom was supporting me. That was very embarrassing because I love my mom. I don't want her to work for my sorry ass, my 23-year-old ass. That was not cool for me. But I was in a really depressive state of my life. I didn't really care about much things. I didn't really have a direction because, oh man, this is such a long footnote though. Maybe you have a question for it, but so I'm not gonna go into it. Something happened prior to that depressed me a lot, and I didn't really care about my career anymore. So I didn't really do anything about it. But I've sat on my ass for like a couple of months, not doing anything. And my mom was like, you got to get a job. You will get a job by, I don't know, I think it was February at the time. I did some interviews for some call center. I've seen the work on call center, and I knew that kind of my generation, the biggest options when it came to job was call center jobs. That's the student job. That's where you don't need a lot of experience to do that job. So a lot of people would do that. And I did not want to do that. That was not me. It felt like a dead-end job, and it kind of is because you learn a couple of things. Don't get me wrong. You learn skills, and that's very important. But there's no future in that job for you. Not as much as you would probably get in a very specific skill set, skill oriented job, right? That's how I saw it anyway. So, but I bit my lip and I got a job at a call center for a bank.
Hey, there we go.
But I said I told my mom, I was like, I'm gonna get this part time because I'm still gonna study and do Upwork Odisk projects because I want to learn graphic design and stuff like that. And she was like, okay, part time. So that was part time. What I did there was the department that I was working on was I don't know how the
Collection.
Credit, not credit. I had to collect the dues, right?
Dues.
Because you have to pay whatever. Jesus Christ, I know the term, man.
It's in collection, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, no. But when you get a loan from a bank and you pay it back, what's that called?
Paying back.
Yeah, paying back like those individual rates. Like what are those called? Something with F. So you know when you get a loan from a bank and you have to pay back every month, right? And you have a due date. And if people did not respect that due date or if they were late for their payment, our department would call them. It's like, hey, what's going on? Is there a problem? And our goal was to make them
Pay up.
promise that they would pay by X day of the month, right? We would have to talk to them and try to understand the situation and try to come up with like, okay, can you pay by next Monday or next Wednesday, right? That was kind of our responsibility. And if they did, that was a check on our target list. And when we reached our target, we would get bonus in our overall paycheck and stuff like that. That's kind of how a call center works. They're target based, and if you accomplish your targets, you get extra bonuses in terms of money.
So basically, you call people and said, pay up.
Yeah, and you can imagine that the people that cannot pay their dues are not doing it just because, oh, fuck it, I'm not gonna pay. They have issues. So I've called people that were struggling with cancer, people that use that money to buy medicine, people that use that money to put some family member into the hospital to pay for their treatment because it was shit, people who lost their job. So all sorts of people in a shitty spot in their life. And it was a very depressing job because you never talk with like happy people. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. Maybe that's like 1 or 2 people in like 100.
Yeah.
So that doesn't happen. So it's all of the calls were like very depressing, right? And some people were like angry, and you would have fights over the phone. And that's when I realized that if you work in a corporation and especially in a call center, you cannot say things because there are things like, dude, this is how you should do it. This is why you're wrong. You cannot say those things in a call center because your calls can be listened to monitor to see if you're, upholding the company's values and stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. So you couldn't do that, and that was incredibly frustrating because the people could say anything to me, but I couldn't say anything back to them. So I couldn't have a proper discussion, proper communication. I had to be in boundaries that the company told me to operate in. So that was incredibly frustrating. It was the shittiest job I ever had. And mind you, while I worked in the US for the work and travel, I cleaned shit off the walls in toilets. I've cleaned food off the tables that stood in the sun for like an entire day and smelled like vomit.
Oh, shit.
And that was not as worse as working in that call center bank thing. I was incredibly depressed. The day I decided, fuck this, because I think I just registered to my master's studies. The day I decided to I cannot work here anymore, I called one of my mom's uncles that worked as a notary in the legal field, and I was like, what do I need to do? Can I just go? Because there was like this grace period that you have to announce your employer that, hey, I won't be working here, and you give them like a 30-day notice, and I had to do that, but I just did not want to do that anymore. And when he said, oh yeah, judging by the contract, because their contract was incredibly shit. Judging by the way that they put the contract, you're not legally obliged to stay those 30 days. I was like, okay, fuck it. That was the biggest relief of my entire life. I actually went home and smiled the whole day and didn't even realize it. I was like,
happy days. Depressing or not, my man. I think, a job like that, especially like in your early years of, go getting into any sort of a career prospect, builds character, builds experience.
Oh yeah, I've learned a couple of things about people.
It's and that's I think the most important thing, right? You got in touch with a lot of different people, and you kind of like saw and assimilated different reactions, tones of voice. You can have a better perception, right? When you talk to people, and in the ultimate goal, leading up to the present day, I think it helped you out in a lot. But you were saying that prior to this, you were coming off of a depression, like something happened that really knocked you off of your ass, and I think I know what it is, but people don't know. So, well, what was it about? What happened?
It's a long story because things connect a lot. But prior to this, my goal after high school was to get a scholarship in Japan.
I knew it.
And I studied Japanese on my own a little bit. I kind of knew like how to have a very basic conversation and read a little bit of the kanji and write a little bit. I never went to like official courses because there weren't any. There was one in my city, which I think the center is still there today.
Yeah, it's close to my home.
Yeah, it's really close to the office. And I was studying Japanese then for a couple of months, and I was a couple of lessons in. And when I went to them, I realized that they were a little bit behind. And by the time I had to take my exam, they wouldn't finish the material. So I realized that I still had to study on my own. I went there and had a couple of conversations, and that was pretty cool. But I really wanted to get into Japan. For me, that represented a change in my life. I was passionate about their culture, and I still am. I was passionate about martial arts, and I still am. And I like, obviously, I'm a weeb because I like anime and stuff like that. But I resonated a lot with their mentality because I don't know how much do you want me to get into this, man?
You go into it, baby.
Because so the thing with why I was so fascinated about Japanese is because when I was in high school and school in general, I was bullied, which is
now we're getting into the juicy stuff. Carry on.
Oh, this is something that you thought I didn't want to talk about?
Yeah, more or less.
All right. You could have just asked.
This is a cool story actually for when you had enough. Carry on.
So I was bullied in primary school, junior high. I think that's the right wording, and high school. And the worst was in high school when I think I know why it happened, but that's like a whole other story. And when I went to high school, I was like, okay, I'm gonna be with a new crowd. I'm gonna be a more active person. I'm gonna interact with people, be friendly, make friends, be a little bit cool, but not really. It's not. Well, in high school, it wasn't a thing as being cool, but being with the people and mingling and stuff like that, and
new crowds.
Yeah. My personality basically is I'm an extrovert, but because I was bullied for so many years, I've retreated in myself, and I kind of suppressed all of that need because I just like to be friends with everybody. I just like to hang around and talk and meet new people. I enjoy that. I enjoy the energy of people. I love people. And I realized that also when I went into the US and experienced all the culture. I just love talking and getting to know all sorts of different kinds of people. But being bullied was kind of shitty because it kind of like suppressed all of that. So I didn't even know I was an extrovert. But once I went into high school, I was like, okay, fuck that. I'm not in the same crowd as I was in school. That's not gonna happen now. People are mature now. People get it.
Yeah,
high school.
Yeah.
Mature high school students.
Super.
Right.
Yeah.
We all
Wise people over there.
And it turns out that I don't want to make it sound like I'm boasting, but I do all right in crowds, okay? And our high school had a tradition of having a ball for like freshmen, and each class would have a guy and a girl to select as participants in the ball because there were like games and stuff to be crowned as king of the freshmen, queen of the freshmen, and there were like a couple of other prizes for the funny guy, the jovial, whatever. There were like prizes like this for freshman students, probably get them into the culture, into the community of the high school. And I said, fuck it, I'll do it. And I was the guy selected from my classroom. I don't know if I even told you this.
I know this.
Oh yeah. And the girl from my classroom was selected as well, so we can participate in the thing. And the girl from my classroom was really cute, but I didn't really care too much about that because she had a boyfriend. Her boyfriend was in our high school, a couple of years older, and we participated in the thing. We went to practice. We skipped classes because that was really cool. They would take us from classes like, hey, bye, teacher. I'm not gonna sit in your class. I have balls
Balls duty.
ball duty. It sounds horrible. So I had ball duty to do, like rehearse games, rehearse plays. We had all kinds of little cool things. And long story short, we had dances and stuff. We participated, and at the end, I was actually crowned king, and that was really cool.
Oh hell yeah!
But probably because my vibe with that girl was really cool. I think that's kind of how it all started. Her boyfriend started bullying me, and he was like a bigger dude, 2 years older. It was it's nothing new for anybody who has been bullied, probably knows that kind of stuff. But the thing it was incredibly humiliating because I couldn't do anything about it. Nobody would back me up, so he had friends and I was alone. I've had my friends were like incredibly passive at the time. He would always like punch me when I went past him. He would spit on me and stuff like that. It was incredibly humiliating. And I'm not the kind of person to usually take that, but because I had all of myself repressed for all of those years, I couldn't really fight back. And that was my first year of high school. And at the end, I said, okay, I went into my vacation. School was over, and what happened was, I usually in the summer I used to go to my grandma because I had like my dad's family there, my cousins and all that. We would play and shit. And I had a little cousin then that was